are live.
All right.
Excited to be here. Today is going to be all about how to create your unique path to transformation and why you should not copy others. Joining me to this would be my left, I believe, is our one and only, very lovely, very amazing Coach Sharon. Yeah.
Hello.
Coach Sharon is awesome, and I could brag on her forever, but that's not why you're here. You are here so that you can find a little bit more about how to create your unique path to transformation. So, Sharon, my first question to you would really be, why does this matter? Why would it matter to have a unique path to transformation? Why not just follow like a cookie cutter, approach? Why not just, I don't know, follow the science of weight loss and call it a day?
I can talk for like many, many hours on this, but I'm not going to for the sake of everyone. So I'll try to keep this part brief.
Okay.
Between social media influencers, so years ago it was magazines, and then it became online blogs or whatever, and now it's social media influencers. And I'm sure in a year or two there'll be something else that doesn't even exist right now. But what's happening is the amount of misinformation or partial information that goes out to the public, right? All of us, the general population, is enormous, and it continues to grow, and it feeds on each other. So what happens is people see someone who looks good, whether they're genetically gifted or they paid for their gifts.
Whoa, what's that mean?
Well, some people want to change their bodies, and some things you can do through proper nutrition and exercise, and some things you can't. So if a woman wants
plastic surgery, or
right, if a woman or a man wants to change their body in a way that health and fitness can't do, right, they're gonna have surgery.
Okay.
So what happens is people through influencers, right, that they're all over right now. Someone will see my phone. I have an alarm going off. Let me turn that off. Obviously, this is very scripted, folks, right?
This is live.
We are live. So anyway, so what happens is someone goes, hey, look at, Billy. Billy looks phenomenal. I want to do exactly what Billy does. Okay, and so Billy's like, hey, I can make money off this. So this is my workout, or this is my food. And this is what I drink every morning, 22 minutes before and they're outlining all these steps.
All these perfect things.
It is. I cut grapes in half, and I only eat the, whatever it is.
I only eat the skins of the grape.
I know, right? And you're thinking, oh my gosh, if I skin my grapes, I'm going to look just like you. Wow.
Right.
And then, so they do it for a week or two or whatever, and they may even be paying money. That's like a whole other topic. But let's say they're just following them and not even paying money, and they can't figure out why their body doesn't look like Billy.
Sure.
And that actually ties back to why diets don't work. So the rate of recidivism for diets a few years ago, it was 7 or 8. And what that means is basically you follow a diet, whether they are the ones that you see commercials for on TV or not, and you follow it and you pay a lot of money and you eat the food and you feel deprived, or you go by points or whatever it is, and you're not learning it. Nowhere does it teach you how to lead a healthy lifestyle. So if you actually even reach your weight goal, which is maybe, then you don't know what to do when you get there, because you never learn about maintenance. So going back to influencers and all that kind of thing, when I get asked, Sharon, what do you eat? How do you work out? Tell me what you have for breakfast. And I say, you're not going to like my answer, because I'm not going to tell you. I'll tell you eventually, but the point is, it really doesn't matter. Because my goals, even if we have the exact same goals, my goals are different than yours, or at least the path to reaching my goals are different, rather, because my body is different, and my body is going to respond to calories and macros and physical exercise based on my age, my gender, my physical fitness, my experience, and all these other things that need to be personalized to help you learn how to lead that healthy lifestyle. So when you reach your goals, you know how to keep it.
So what you're really talking about here is not just, the actual actions you take may get a different physical result, but even more beyond that, it's the psychology of it, right? Being able to keep this, sustain it. What may work results wise for we'll say two very similar people with similar goals, but they have two totally different lifestyles and starting points. Even though the science of weight loss, if they do the thing, they'll get the result. In one case, it's sustainable for them. And in the other, it's too much too quickly. And like you said, the chance of recidivism is so high. Is that kind of?
It is. And
okay.
And we are all, me included, like Americans anyway, we are so want it now, impatient.
We are.
but I ate one good meal. Why don't I look the way I should? I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's really good. When I talk with my clients, I use a lot of different examples because people will remember different ones. Sure. So one of them that I use is doing something. We figure out a plan and we agree on the fitness and the nutrition. Are you committing to doing this? Right? Let's try it for a week. Let's see how it goes. So once we get to that, as we're talking about it, I explain that doing this for a week is good. Doing it for a month is good, but making a lifestyle that's stringing together many months worth, like this 30-day period and that 30-day period and that 30-day period, because it gives you the opportunity to have to figure out like how to manage the holidays, birthdays, happy hours, bad days, good days, vacations, all those things that make it a lifestyle and not a diet.
Makes sense. Yeah. So, I mean, what you're really talking about too is like zooming out. You're zooming out with the idea of not just, hey, let's get you to that goal, 20 pounds in 6 weeks. You're zooming out and looking further, not just at the, next week or next month. You're looking at, the next year, potentially even years to come. It's funny because I follow something really similar where it's like, until you've gone a full year on your plan, it's really hard to know. It's really hard to be able to say, yes, I'm never going back, because we haven't experienced all the stimulus yet. Like you said, with the holidays and everything like that. We had a comment just come in as well. I have to see who it's from because I love the comment. It's so great. It was from Lori. Lori said, I need a coach like Sharon.
Come on, Lori. I don't know if I'm sure if you're working with another coach, one of my fellow coaches, they are fantastic. But if not, let's do this. I will. Seriously.
That's my client. No, just kidding.
Sorry. I mean, stay with Ryan. He is phenomenal.
I'm just going the best thing with you. That's hilarious. No, Sharon's great. So was there something else you wanted to add to that as well?
I have no idea. Let's keep going.
Okay, perfect. Well, I mean, we're just kind of having a fireside chat.
This is very scripted. You can tell, folks.
I know, of course. So, when we are thinking about creating that unique path to transformation, I do think, like you said, talking about the influencers, it's very easy to, I think, in American culture as well, or just as being a human, we want to think the least generally, and we want to just, essentially, how can I say this? I don't want to say we want to turn off our brain, because it depends on the individual, right? But I know from my experience, if I'm working with somebody, usually I just want them to tell me what to do, because if they just tell me what to do, I can just like only focus on that.
Yep.
And while that can be super helpful, I think, especially in the beginning to gain structure and certainty, to your point, I think that it really has to be something that I want to say learn from over time. Like, this has got to be something that is not just the coach telling you what to do, even though they might know the best action. And I think this is why, like you, and I could be wrong, but like you and Coach Rachel and Coach Charity and even myself, we generally, when we talk to clients, we don't tell them what to do. Instead, what we try to do is, we know the answer, but we try to guide them to the answer. And the reason for that is so that they can actually learn, right? I think it's the old expression that if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. But if you teach a man to fish, he'll eat forever. He'll eat for the rest of his life. Yeah. And that's kind of what we're trying to do here in very, I'll say, bite-sized, small ways when it comes to body transformation. Like, yes, we do want to prioritize low effort, high reward activities, but I don't think it's possible to sustain results forever if we never do learn, if we never take that opportunity to learn the basics, if you will. And, to not just be happy things are happening, but to understand why they're happening. And I'm less talking about the science of weight loss here, and I'm more talking about the psychology of weight loss, right? But that was a little ramble. Sorry to go off track a little bit.
So, when you were talking, something, a few different thoughts came to mind. One is, so you may not even know this, Ryan, but okay, so
I probably don't.
Right. Everyone knows, right? I'm a certified personal trainer. I'm a fitness nutrition coach. I'm certified in a couple other things, right? Okay, good stuff. That just makes me qualified, hopefully, to help you. But my point of bringing that up is trainers hire other trainers at times. So a few years ago, I hired Nicole Wilkins. Nicole Wilkins, if you don't know, if someone doesn't know who she is, she's a 4-time Ms. Olympia. So I'm going to say she knows her stuff. Okay.
Got the guns.
She knows her stuff. And I worked with her for 2 years. And I learned, and that was after I was certified, but I wanted to become the best that I could be, whatever that was. Like at that time, I couldn't define what that meant, but I knew I wanted to learn from one of the best. So I learned from one of the best. And through that process, in the beginning, I had a whole lot of questions, and then I just started, tell me what to do, right? Because I designed programs for so many other people. Someone tell me what to do. Like you tell me to go eat 12 grapes. Not that she did. I'll go eat 12 grapes. Like I didn't want to think like what Ryan was saying. But I'm a curious person anyway. So it wasn't long before I really did start asking questions again. And she taught me a lot about fitness and nutrition and sustainability and all those kinds of things. Some of it I knew, but she certainly opened my eyes to, like, she's just at a different level. Like she's Ms. Olympia. She's way up here. And the rest of us are like way, down here. Yeah. And that was a good fit for me. Does that mean that everyone should go hire her? That's up to them. I don't think so, right? You need to, in my opinion, you need to find a good fit for you, and starting small may be it. And using those little levers versus the big levers that Ryan was just talking about, right? Different sized levers, that will help you create habits. And the idea to build a sustainable lifestyle is when you create small habits and then you repeat them over time. And when they're nice and solid, you have that really good foundation, and then you start to change something else. And if you lose however many pounds in however many weeks that you want to, that's great. But what are you going to do in 6 months or a year? Are you still going to look the same and feel the same inside and out? Or are you going to come back and say, I need help again? And we want you to know how to keep it where it is. And part of that is trial and error. We need to find out how your body responds even to carbs, or a little more carbs, or a little less carbs. And I do that. That's part of what we do.
Yeah. It's interesting too, because of course, like I always like to think through life through frameworks, right? So it's like we're talking about the science of weight loss and the psychology of weight loss, and we kind of bounce back and forth a little bit, kind of going more on the side of the psychology of weight loss just for a second. What you said struck a little bit of a chord with me. And I actually made a post early this morning about something specific. You had said like, oh man, are you going to just be happy 6 weeks from now and then be unhappy, 6 months or 6 years from now? And I feel like that can be so clearly articulated with this here. I made this post, and I won't go over the whole thing, but essentially it's just along the lines of saying you have two people, they're the exact same person, they're twins even, right? But person one says, you know what? And I'm going to make this bigger. So if you are watching this or trying to read it, you have hope to read it. Can you see that? I don't know if that's too small.
Yep, I can see it. Right. Yeah.
So person one says, that's it. I've had it. I can't keep living this way. I'm cutting out sugar, no more carbs. I'm exercising daily starting Monday. Person two says, that's it. I've had it. I can't keep living this way. I'm going to still eat my favorite foods, but increase my protein intake, begin walking 5 minutes per day, and just clear my mind and reset. And I'll start sleeping 20 minutes more per night this week. The question is, who gets better results? Now, it just depends, because again, like we said, I think that just human nature or how we've been conditioned with social media and today's day and age, we want instant gratification, right? McDonald's, we have it your way and have it now. It's like, who gets better results? Well, if we're zoomed in, and we're looking at week 6 to 8, we see that person 1 is down 25 pounds. Person 2 is only down 6 pounds. So person 1 was right. They win. Not exactly. Because the one who wins the game of transformation or weight loss or whatever you want to call it is the one who, when you zoom out far enough, is ahead.
Yep.
And you see, if we zoom out further, a year from now, and I'm not saying that this would happen, but this is the trend that we see often. Person number 1 who depleted themselves and deprived themselves and went all in too much too quickly, a year from now is not exercising, not eating well, stressed and depressed, and gained the weight back and then some. Person number 2 lost less than 1 pound per week, which it sounds crazy, but we've been so conditioned with fad diets and with, 6-week challenges that, oh my gosh, like, if you're not losing 20 pounds in 6 weeks, something's wrong. Like, if you don't lose 3 pounds your first week, you're broken. And it's like, what? How did that happen? But it's happened. But person number 2, a year from now, only lost 0.8 pounds a week. But because that was the average, they lost 40 pounds of actual fat. And they're still exercising 3 times a week with resistance training, built up over time. They're sleeping 7.5 hours per night on average. Stress is reduced to a 4 out of 10, and they're maintaining their new body with relative ease. And that, I think, is like a perfect, I don't know about perfect, but it is a representation of what we're talking about. It's creating your unique path to transformation. It is crucial that you start where you are. If you try to start with, just like the science of weight loss, just tell me what to do, and you don't take into account where you are, how much stress you're experiencing, how much time you have. It's funny because I've gotten the question in the past, like, hey, is cardio good for me? Like, will cardio help me lose weight? And like, there's a lot of reasons why cardio is great for you, for your health. And will it help you lose weight? Yes, but that doesn't mean you should do it, because it's actually one of the least efficient ways to lose fat. What do I mean by that? Well, it takes 30 minutes for you to do this thing, and you're probably going to burn 100, maybe 150 calories if you're walking. And it's like, well, man, how fast do you get 150 calories? 2 minutes. Just reduce your calorie intake, right? Make different food choices. Food prep for those 30 minutes instead. If you were limited on time, we have to identify and delineate which actions are your biggest lever, right?
Yep.
Big rant there. What do you have to add? Sorry.
No, I agree. And along with that, it's also where the person is. So a woman who's menopausal or even premenopausal, right, our hormones are different. So if someone says to me, like, I exercise differently at my age than I did 10, 20, 30 years ago. Yeah. And so I work with a lot of women who are premenopausal and menopausal and even postmenopausal. And I hear very often, well, this doesn't work for me anymore. This is what I've done in the past. Well, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry it took you like 3 years of pain and suffering almost for you to figure that out. But our bodies change, and we don't really understand that until we start going, until we experience it or we study it, like I do.
Yes.
And so women, like the 30 minutes of exercise, 30 minutes of high intensity, or 20 minutes of high intensity versus 20 minutes of slower, steady cardio, that may be better for you depending on your age and and how your hormones are reacting than not. And that's part of using your time wisely. Like Ryan said, is nutrition a bigger part of it? Absolutely. I would rather someone sleep and enough, like have sound sleep and meal prep for the entire week than get a 30-minute walk-in.
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And then we could even take this a step further and go more into the mental side, where it's like, what if somebody's stress is an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, they're barely holding on. Like, I remember there's been calls where I've gotten on the first call and I can feel the stress through the Zoom. The jaw is clenched. It's not coming undone. And I can just feel the intensity. And I'm like, whoa, guess what? we're probably not going to start like with what you said, right? High intensity interval training, let's go. It's
Yeah.
like, well, we probably want to start identifying, well, where is this stress coming from? And then one of three things: can we rip it out at the source? Can we change the way we view it? Or can we cope differently with it? Maybe that isn't as destructive. Or even just, like we said, identifying which actions, that are the biggest result. I won't say a lot, but there's a few things we definitely have to consider in really, or we would have to consider, you would have to consider in making this unique approach stick. And I think what's most important too is this, and if you're writing something down, not to say that what I say you should write down, but like I heard something years ago that has stayed with me for years. And Sharon, you might like it, you might not. You'll have to tell me. But testing and iterating, or trial and error, always beats design. And what do I mean by that? We can spend a year creating your perfect plan, take in all the variables, where you're at in life, where your hormones are, get the blood panels, everything. And then 1 week goes by and we don't change it, and we just follow that design for a year. We would get better results just by designing quickly, taking into account, but then every week changing based upon what happens. I don't know if you agree with that or not, Sharon.
I agree that trial and error is key to finding what works for each person. So when I start working with a client, depending on what like we talk about, everything that we talk about, and I design even whether it's fitness or nutrition, I'm going to give them based on my experience, I'm going to give them a sort of customized, sort of generic plan, because I need to see, like
you need data.
I need data. I know the framework, like I know where they should be.
Yeah.
But I don't know all the intricacies. And I tell them there is trial and error. So even if I give them like a recipe to try, especially like if it has someone with protein powder and we're trying different things, I'm like, hey, try these 3. Tell me which one you like. Tell me why you like it. Is it sustainable? Is it whatever? And then we could try to use it next time. But some of this is trial and error. Are you in for that? And I haven't had anyone yet who says no.
No.
No. I don't want any choice in what I eat or how I do fitness. Okay, great. Like that's just not going to happen. And having that buy-in from a psychological standpoint, I am giving them control. I mean, I'm going to guide them to what I think is best and certainly safest, but what is best for them. But if they don't want to do it and they are set on whatever it is, okay, let's try it. Hey, if your body responds well to it and you're getting the goals you want, I'm okay with that. But if not, we're going to try something else.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, trial and error. I test and iterate, right? I feel like that's a bit of the secret sauce. We had a couple more comments came in. I want to make sure I get the names as well. Christina says, Christina Dummer-Muth, I think I'm saying your last name right, says, there are way too many things out there saying they are the one to help us get there. Yes. And unfortunately, I mean, I don't know how you feel about this, Sharon, but we kind of live in I don't know whether I should call it this or not, but we kind of live in a bastard industry, meaning like it's really easy to come in and just get a weekend certification and be like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. And let me be honest, that was me when I was 16 years old and I tried to help my mom lose weight. Sharon, do you know that story with my mom?
Yeah, tell it so everyone can hear.
Really fast. So 16 years old, my mom wants a personal trainer, lose the weight. She doesn't get one. I say, Mom, I'm going to train you. And I'm like so gung-ho. I'm like, I've been working out 2-3 years. I know what I'm doing. We work out together for 3 months. She gains 5 pounds. She is not happy. She's more deflated than ever. It's a shit show, to say the least. But I was teaching martial arts at the time, and it was a pretty successful school. So I was teaching a lot of kids. And the parents, with enough people, some of them were gym owners, nutritionists, personal trainers, physical therapists. So I got a better education from them than I ever got in traditional school, just by after school going and shadowing them. And I became obsessed. I would show up with my little notepad, and this is before iPhones and stuff. So I show up with a little notepad, and I would just sit there and ask questions and just observe. And I did that for 5 months. And 5 months after that, I helped my mom and she lost 30 pounds. And to her own credit, not to mine, because I did not know nearly as much as I know now about the psychology of weight loss and the sustainability of weight loss that I do now then, but she on her own has sustained that. It would be fun to get her on one of these podcasts at one point. But the point of all that is, unfortunately, you really do have to do some due diligence. You got to find out, okay, cool, like, what are the results that these people can get? Like, what are their philosophies? And I think that's the most important thing, is do philosophies match? You know, if anyone ever watches this video and you're ever asking yourself, like, hey, I feel like I want to coach, should I work with these guys or not? Just ask yourself the question, are you looking for like sustainable weight loss and like really uncovering, I'll say, what drives you? You know, and that's the key. And going back to what Sharon said very much in the beginning, the one size fits all approach is great in some capacity because you turn off your brain, you just do it. But the odds that you're going to be able to do it forever are low. So what we have to do is we have to acknowledge what's going on in your life, you know, be able to tweak it and mold it like a piece of clay over time to where at the end of 12, 24, 52 weeks, you can step back and go, whoa, this is it. Now this is personalized. You can't create a personalized plan in a week, like truly. Like what Sharon said, sometimes you're just starting with like, okay, cool, this is the direction I know we need to go in. So let's start here. And then you get data and then you switch, right? And that it's those little changes over time that really lead to the effect that we want. We actually had a couple other comments come in as well. Kylie says that is so true, Sharon. That's probably from a while ago, as I've been talking for the last 3 minutes straight. Kylie says, that's so true, Coach Sharon. Nothing works the same anymore. Oh, that's when I think you were talking about hormones. Kylie says, mindset is the hardest to change. I'm grateful for trial and error. Most programs don't have that. It's crucial. Kylie says, this one does. Hell yeah. Kylie, you've been crushing it. And Christina says, I'm very muscular naturally, so my weight number is never really defining how healthy I am. Very true. Yeah. I'm going to get a breather here.
Yep.
It's good stuff. This has been good. I can't believe we've already been talking for 30 minutes.
Yep. All right. Goodbye. No.
All right. See ya. We're out. Any questions for Coach Sharon as we wrap up here? We want to try to keep these to like 30 minutes so I don't rant, too long here. We had a couple other questions come in as well, or comments. Kylie says, thank you. I appreciate the encouragement. Kylie, we got you, girl. We're here.
Absolutely.
You will get there. Christina says, I hate that doctors use the BMI to determine. Yeah. I mean, that kind of is a little bit of an outdated, measurement. Like, of course, getting more lean body mass compared to fat mass is going to be a way more accurate assessment of your overall health or, we'll say, state, So, yeah. Anything that you'd want to add, Sharon, before we close out here? What would be, ready? I'm going to give you something that you probably won't like. What would be the one thing? Would be the one thing, or it could be like a couple of things, right? But what would be like the one thing, piece of advice, somebody's coming to you and they're like, hey, I need to be able to transform my body. I want to sustain it. How do I create a unique path of transformation for me? Like, what do I do? What's like, and you only have 2 minutes to talk to them and then you're cut off.
All right.
What's it going to be?
Start timing. It'll take less than that.
All right.
Interview different trainers, find the person who has a similar philosophy to you, and then trust the process.
Yeah. Yeah, that last part's the hardest, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Super hard. It's funny, this goes, and maybe we'll finish with this, going back to the psychology of weight loss. The hardest thing, the reason that, like, if we think about why we don't get to our goal, there is one unifying factor of why people don't get to their goal. And it is true in every single case. Every single case. It's never not been true. But if somebody doesn't get to their goal, they've all stopped. Right? Unless, as long as it's within the, of course their goal can't be to fly. Right? Like I'm saying, within the realm of possibility. So if we can optimize for starting and just never stopping again, how do we do that? Well, it starts with certainty. And talking what you said, trust the process. How do you trust the process when you're taking actions and they're not getting the result you want? I think the best way to do that is by gaining evidence. And sometimes that's why having a coach can be so powerful, because to be honest, some of the times on that weekly call, it's less about like, hey, let me educate you on the science of weight loss. And instead it's like, hey, you did these actions. I'll give you the best example of this. You know, we've all had this. Clients come on a call and they've done everything right, but they're pound up and they feel discouraged. And they're feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm failing. So negative connotation, negative feeling going into this call. However, we look at the data, and your dog's excited. And what we start to find out, you're good. No, you're fine. What we start to find out is, hold on a sec. Like, your energy's gone up. You're thinking more clearly. Your clothes haven't really changed. It's been a week.
Right.
And we'll say you have more energy and you're thinking clear. And we look at that week and we go, well, hold on a sec. Is it possible that this extra weight is water? Is there a chance that you were mildly dehydrated before coming onto this? And we look back at the data and the answer is yes. A lot of us are mildly dehydrated. And when we just start drinking adequate water and, you know, maybe getting in sodium or exercise, you know, as we do, especially resistance training, our muscles hold on to more water. You are going to see that weight fluctuate, which is why, again, it's all about zooming out. You know, try not to look. I know it's tough. And I do the same thing with all my goals, right? I look at the day, I look at the week, and I'm like, right? And then it's very easy to feel emotional. But the more we can zoom out and look at this as the next month or year, I think it's, you know, very powerful. The more that we can temper our emotions. And I feel like that's one of the less talked about factors about having a coach that's so powerful, is when you are feeling defeated, when you're feeling like, oh my God, nothing's working. All you need is just a reframe of the thinking, kind of that cognitive behavioral therapy, you know, if you will.
Absolutely.
But anyway, agree, disagree?
Agree.
Well,
I'm like nodding. Yes.
Good stuff. This is fun. Man, these go by way faster when I get to talk to someone. Someone gets to talk to me. All right, expect to see more of Coach Sharon as well. We want to do these every week. So Monday, 11 a.m. If you like Coach Sharon and you want to see her some more, then you know, we'll see you next Monday. And if we have less viewers next week, we'll get the hint. No, I was just kidding.
Yeah, then I'm out. So yeah, tell your family and friends to at least tune in.
That's hilarious. All right, it's been a pleasure. We're going to talk after this anyway, guys. Feel free, if you're watching this on repeat, feel free to like this, say replay in the comments. And if you are interested in working with Coach Sharon or any of our coaches, we'll put a link somewhere to apply to work with us. Talk soon. Bye.
Bye.